Aircraft carrier is a warship that serves as a seagoing airbase, equipped with a full-length flight deck and facilities for carrying, arming, deploying, and recovering aircraft. Typically, it is the capital ship of a fleet, as it allows a naval force to project airpower worldwide without depending on local bases for staging aircraft operations. Carriers have evolved since their inception in the early 20th century from wooden vessels used to deploy balloons to nuclear-powered warships that carry numerous fighters, strike aircraft, helicopters, and other types of aircraft. While heavier aircraft such as fixed-wing gunships and bombers have been launched from aircraft carriers, these aircraft have not landed on a carrier. By its diplomatic and tactical power, its mobility, its autonomy, and the variety of its means, the aircraft carrier is often the centerpiece of modern combat fleets. Tactically or even strategically, it replaced the battleship in the role of flagship of a fleet. One of its great advantages is that, by sailing in international waters, it does not interfere with any territorial sovereignty and thus obviates the need for overflight authorizations from third-party countries, reduces the times and transit distances of aircraft and therefore significantly increases the time of availability on the combat zone. Number 1. The United States. Aircraft carriers serve as the cornerstone of modern naval power projection. Currently, the United States operates a fleet of 11 aircraft carriers. These carriers are divided into two primary classes: the Nimitz-class and the newer Ford-class carriers. The Nimitz-class carriers, which have been the backbone of the U.S. carrier fleet for decades, consist of 10 carriers. These include USS Nimitz, CVN-68, USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN-69, USS Carl Vinson, CVN-70, and others. The Ford-class carriers represent the future of U.S. naval aviation. The first carrier of this class, USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, was commissioned in 2017. These carriers incorporate advanced technologies and enhancements, such as electromagnetic aircraft launch systems, EMLS, and advanced arresting gear, AAG, which improve efficiency and operational capabilities. Number 2. England. The Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers program comprises two aircraft carriers, HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales. The carriers provide the UK with a mobile, versatile, and powerful platform for deploying airpower wherever it is needed around the world. As the central vessels of the Royal Navy carrier strike groups, these ships can deploy a range of aircraft including the cutting-edge F-35B Lightning II, as well as helicopters such as Merlins and Wildcats. Number 3. China. China has two operational aircraft carriers. The Liaoning is a modified Soviet Kuznetsov-class carrier that was commissioned in 2012. Since the 1970s, China's People's Liberation Army Navy has had ambitions to develop and operate aircraft carriers, and since 1985 has acquired four retired aircraft carriers for study, namely, the British-built Australian HMAS Melbourne and the ex-Soviet carriers Minsk, Kiev, and Varyag. The Varyag later underwent an extensive refit to be converted into the Liaoning, China's first operational aircraft carrier, which also served as a basis for China's subsequent design iterations. As of 2022, the China's People's Liberation Army Navy has two combat-ready aircraft carriers, the Liaoning and Shandong. Number 4. Italy. There are two aircraft carriers. The Cavour and Giuseppe Garibaldi are the Italian aircraft carriers. She is the flagship of the Italian Navy. The ship is designed to combine fixed-wing short takeoff and landing aircraft and helicopter air operations, command and control operations, and the transport of military or civil personnel and heavy vehicles. The 134 meters, 30,000 square foot hangar space can double as a vehicle hold capable of holding up to 24 main battle tanks, typically R-8, or many more lighter vehicles. Number 5. India. India currently has two aircraft carriers: INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant. INS Vikrant is an aircraft carrier in service with Indian Navy. The carrier is the first to be built in India and was constructed by the Cochin Shipyard Limited in Kochi, Kerala. The namesake Vikrant is a tribute to India's first aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, 1961. Vikrant means courageous. The INS Vikramaditya, mean brave as the sun, is a modified Kiev-class aircraft carrier and the flagship of the Indian Navy. She entered into service in 2013. Originally built as Baku and commissioned in 1987, the carrier served with the Soviet Navy and later with the Russian Navy, as Admiral Gorshkov, before being decommissioned in 1996. The carrier was invested by India on January 20, 2004, after years of negotiations at a final arms sales price of $2.35 billion. The transformed ship completed her sea trials in July 2013. Number 6. Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle is the flagship of the French Navy. The ship, commissioned in 2001, is the 10th French aircraft carrier, the first French nuclear-powered surface vessel, and the only nuclear-powered carrier completed outside of the United States Navy. She is named after French President and General Charles de Gaulle. The French Navy is actively planning for a future aircraft carrier and new flagship. It is known in French as Porte-Avions de Nouvelle Génération Ford New Generation Aircraft Carrier. Number 7. Spain. Príncipe de Asturias, originally named Almirante Carrero Blanco, was a light aircraft carrier and former flagship of the Spanish Navy. She was built in Bazan shipyards and delivered to the Spanish Navy on May 30, 1988. Number 8. Russia. Admiral Kuznetsov. Admiral Kuznetsov is an aircraft carrier, heavy aircraft cruiser in Russian classification, serving as the flagship of the Russian Navy. It was built by the Black Sea Shipyard, the sole manufacturer of Soviet aircraft carriers, in Nikolaev within the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, Ukrainian SSR, and launched in 1985, becoming fully operational in the Russian Navy in 1995. Number 9. Japan have 2 aircraft carriers. One JS Kaga is a helicopter carrier being converted into an aircraft carrier beginning in March 2022. Officially classified as a multi-purpose operation destroyer, she is the second ship in the Izumo class of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. 2 JS Izumo is a helicopter carrier which, as of 2022, is being converted into a light aircraft carrier. Officially classified as a multi-purpose operation destroyer. Thanks for watching.